What is wrong with GTA Online Heists? Now I know what you're all thinking. Here's another thing that somebody does not agree with on how Rockstar did, and here they are to complain. I actually think the opposite. Rockstar did a fantastic job on heists for the time. It gave everyone what they wanted, an increase in player interaction that didn't get old. Heists and heist setups were fun, and the heists were really well paying as opposed to the couple of contact missions that people were stuck doing at the time. But with time, Rockstar had added more and more things to their game, causing the heists to slowly lose their magic as seemingly less and less, Right, fun. And it's no surprise either, considering that the most recent update with the Diamond Casino heist covers a lot of problems that the heists did have. And I'm talking a lot of heists. Now that the Diamond Casino heist I find really fun to play, as opposed to the heists which I constantly see as a bad thing I'm trying to attempt to do. But what exactly makes the heists bad? Let's review the problems. I'm fully aware that I had said that money was one of the best things about heists in GTA, but I also said that times have changed and now there's a lot more money-making methods around. Not counting the casino heist, we have gun running, smugglers run, MC businesses, and albeit they all take a little more finance and time to get money from, you get a lot more money from them, about $1.2 million for roughly every couple hours you are in the game, which might seem like a lot, but it's not actually that long for a lot of, good people who play games, as opposed to this specific standard job that I have playing. The most you can get out of it is 1.5 million, and that's if everyone agrees to give you all of the money, and if you have it on the hardest difficulty, not to mention the amount you lose during the heist. And that's not even to consider the amount you get per setups. You arguably spend a lot more time doing the setups than the actual heist, at which, to everyone but the leader of the lobby, you get around the same amount for a contact mission, which is really low considering how difficult these setup missions are, for points that I'll later mention. But for now, let's cover what they should do to make heists better. 1. They should double the amount you earn. I could kind of care less whether or not it's for setup or for finale, but if they are going to do it for setup, they should also give it to the leader, which leads me to another point I'll mention later on. So, double the money. So, for some of the heists, you get 800,000 as opposed to 400,000. This will make splitting the cuts a lot more seemingly fair, as people aren't going to be so left out as they would have been previously. 2. They should make it so that there is no crew cuts. I despise it more than anything when you grind away for so long to get a heist not only set up but to be completed, and all of that to have the big number flash on your screen and drastically go down because everyone else needs their money. And this isn't just for the leader either, it's for everyone who sees that $400,000 after they complete the prison break, only to learn that, they only get $100,000. And that's if they are lucky and have a good or a nice crew leader and will give them 25% cuts each. I personally think this should be removed so that everybody feels like they properly earned their amount. And 3, give everyone equal money amounts. You may confuse this with my concept of removing crew cuts, with everyone getting the same amount as projected on their screen. No, I'm talking about when you're doing the setup missions. After completing a setup mission, everyone who isn't the crew leader gets that contact mission's worth of money that I mentioned earlier. Give the leader this after a setup mission, or don't give them to anyone. Personally, I don't think giving them to anyone would be a very smart decision, but it's their call if they plan on listening to this video, which probably is not going to get very many viewership. Regardless, I really don't think it's all that fair to give the majority of people a lot of money or a handful of money to complete or accommodate someone in completing the mission. And when I found out that people who are doing the setup with me is getting money, I got pretty upset about it, and really think that this, although is probably the most minor out of the three, should be changed. So how about we go or switch gears to part 2, shall we? Player interaction is getting steadily worse in GTA Online. The griefers are having more than enough tools to do so, with flying oppressors with missiles that lock very easily, jets that fire explosive bullets, and flying cars that can go underwater. It's becoming too much to where Rockstar seemingly has thrown the part with player interaction out of the window. So why not improve it on the heist part? There's a couple more things that I think they could do to make it so that it's better. So the main problem with player interaction on heists isn't so much of the interaction part, it's on players doing things that aren't intended to be done. The main offender here is players leaving. When a player leaves, unless it's on the Fleeka Bank job, which only requires 2 players and which usually is really easy, all the players have to be sent back to the cloud screen, which takes about roughly 4-ish minutes to come back to the game, at which the players will then have wasted time and have to start it all over again, because one player got upset that they failed the heist or had to go and didn't want to be a part of it anymore. This I have 3 solutions to. The first is probably the most dire and unnecessary of the bunch: punish players for leaving. Now, the reason I say it's the most problematic is because there are things that aren't in other players' control. When you have a thunderstorm going on and it knocks out the Wi-Fi, or your mom gets upset enough to turn off the Xbox about something. It's not always in their control when they leave. So when the power goes out and now all of a sudden you have a $10,000 hole in your GTA wallet, it shouldn't exactly be like that, in my opinion. My second solution is probably the most simple. Just improve the matchmaking system for heist setups. This would probably tie in best with my thoughts on doubling the wages for setups, and this is probably, again, simple. What it does is it sets everyone onto a server list where somebody who wants to get a certain setup done can do so by going onto that setup mission and be put on that server list. Then when you have enough people on that server list and one of them is a host, you can then get on the heist and complete it, or the heist setup in this case. This will be much more simple than having to wait out for that stupid auto invite feature that takes not only forever to do, but it also saves the stress of having to manually invite everyone else just to try and speed it up. But I do have one more solution that I probably think is the best, which is number 3, allow everyone to complete the setup. Yeah, I was actually pretty upset when I found out that not everyone completes the setup mission if you aren't the host. So let's put that in a bit of a context here. Say, for example, you're doing the plane setup on the prison break, and you also are doing the prison break and don't have the plane setup complete, but you're not the host of the lobby. Well, what's going to happen is that you're going to complete it, get the money, and not complete the setup, which I found really upsetting. So that's one of the things I find they should include in the heist. Allow for people who haven't completed the setup already to complete the setup. And I mean everyone to complete the setup, not just 1 or 2 people. That's pretty much all I have to say about the player interaction part. I have a couple more minor problems, but they really aren't very relevant. So without further ado, let's go right on ahead to the third and final part of the video. To keep a game from going stale, you're going to need to do something about that game. Let's take two of the most popular companies who are great at keeping their games in check: Mojang Studios, creator of Minecraft, and Activision, the creator of Call of Duty, or one of the developers at least. These two companies have different methods of keeping their game intact, but yet still do so phenomenally to where they're still one of the most recognized games on the planet. Call of Duty does this by incorporating new versions of its game, such as Modern Warfare being the recent release of this video. Before that, they had a lot of Black Ops games and a bunch of other Call of Duty games that kept the community fresh and the money flowing in. Minecraft's method are a lot more slow. They intend to update their game frequently to make the same game still feel fresh, so that community fanbase doesn't drain out because it's been too long since they created something. GTA has recently been taking on the second method, constantly updating a single game, as opposed to the first method which they did prior, constantly releasing new versions of their game. I'm not going to go into the whole GTA 6 thing because that's a conspiracy to me, but I will say that if they're going to keep updating their game, they might as well incorporate something new to something a lot of players find interest in: heists. I remember lying awake in bed at night thinking of all of the possible heists they could do instead of the 5 they have already preset, and which are relatively boring once you play through them once. I was thinking stuff like jewelry store robberies, like how they did in story mode, more bank robberies, even like stealing intelligence from like how they did in Payday, I guess. I haven't played that game in a while, but that's irrelevant. My point here is that Rockstar just needs to add something more to the heists. 5 singular heists that all have problems within them are a complete issue, and when nobody wants to do these, it leads to more people not wanting to play GTA, which leads to less people playing GTA, which leads to less people playing heists, and the cycle just completes itself over and over and over again. I just really think that milking something dry is not exactly how a game is intended to be played. I feel like instead of doing that, you either make content that people like really want to see, or you just give it up and go back to the first method, adding new games to your collection. In this case, it would be GTA 6, but again, I don't want to get into that for reasons I previously mentioned. Okay, Jesus, let's just get into the conclusion. Who honestly cares what I think? This is an opinion. It's not supposed to be taken seriously, and I would like it, but I don't intend for this to be listened to and have it changed in GTA. It's just a little rant I have to spend some time to, clear my mind and do other things and complain about some things I don't necessarily agree with, but that's okay. It's what an opinion's for. In the true conclusion, I guess, Rockstar did do a pretty good job on heists, but that was the first time around. They need to put in other things so that now the heists still seem good as opposed to everything else they have in the game. But that's just an opinion, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so that's that, I really guess. Alright, I guess I do have some explaining to do on where I've been for the past 4 months, I think it's been now. And even then, they really didn't count the last video I made because it was absolutely just no effort whatsoever. I did get a computer, actually, and I can record stuff on it, but that has not only taken up a lot of the time from editing this video, and I guess the ending was a little rushed, yeah, but I do, I never did get out any like other gameplay videos from the computer because I realized that all editing systems suck and videos take up way too much space on my computer. Um, I I guess I should also mention that a lot of rather the uh, the majority of the videos were from other YouTubers that I've taken. So I'd be foolish of me not to say them or call them out. So the professional, he's probably one of the best GTA YouTubers, pure GTA YouTubers anyway, at least for a while. Now he's doing a bit more Hitman videos as of the last time I've seen, but for the most part, he's pretty good at the game. The other is the GTA series videos that I took some of the charts from at the more beginning of the video, so that I could, well, get better representation for the video. Um, I didn't use any of their videos because they did have a watermark, so there's that. But I do give massive credit to these two for basically carrying the video on their shoulders. I Sure, let's just use that metaphor. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna try and do a bit better in the future on uploading instead of having a 4 month gap in between. But other than that, I don't really have too much to say other than that. Just I'll do better editing or making videos, and shout out to those two YouTubers for helping me get through the video without having to go through the massive stress of having to record it all myself. So, thank you and goodbye.